everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel, and today I am so excited to be sharing with you a little July reset. So I want to make these videos very fun, include a lot of different parts to them. So to start us off, I think we should make the trek from Summerville, South Carolina to Mount Pleasant to do our little monthly Trader Joe's restock. Alright, so let's talk about goals for the month of July. So how I would like to do this goal section of the reset videos in the future is that I reflect back on my last month's goals and let you know if I completed them. But honestly, June was such a crazy month for me. I barely completed any of the goals, and I also did not even set them until like the very beginning of the second week of the month. And overall, I just had way too lofty goals for the month that was ahead of me. My sister literally came the day that we were filming that video, and she is actually still with us. She's staying with me and my husband until the end of July. So just having her here has been wonderful, but I also just have not been working as hard as I normally would if no one was staying here. We also had a very, very lovely month with my older brother and his wife and their 2 kids. And of course, I am going to prioritize spending time with my family over reading a lot or just like getting a lot of extra work done. So yeah, June was a fabulous month, but we did not reach a lot of goals. But there is one goal that I am very proud to say that we accomplished, and I do say we because you guys helped me get there, and that is getting this channel, Cozies and Classics, monetized. And if you don't know, you don't make any money on YouTube at all until you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So I had the subscribers for a little bit, but I was fighting to get those watch hours. But yeah, you guys have been watching my videos a lot recently, and so you did help me get monetized. So I'm so happy to say that now I make a little bit of money from the ads, so if you don't mind, don't skip them. And yeah, even though you make very, very little money from YouTube, and that's not at all why I do this, it is gratifying to know that you're making even like 50 cents on a video. If you guys have been following me for a while, if you've been following me since I created my other channel, which is now called Cottageville Cozies, you know that I've been doing this for a while. I think I have officially been on YouTube for 4.5 years, and I think it took me nearly 3 years to get monetized on that other channel. So it's gone a little bit faster over here, and I really do appreciate all of your support. But yeah, other than that, I did make progress on a lot of the goals that I set last month, but I think I was just short of a lot of them. This month, I do have a bit more time to get work done. My sister is still here, but she is working now. So I do have a little bit more time during the day, and I really am motivated to reach these goals this month. So the first 2 are very connected. I want to post 6 videos on this channel as well as 6 videos on my other channel, Cottageville Cozies, and that channel was all about thrifting and my reselling business on Poshmark. And honestly, when I first decided to have these 2 channels, I really wanted to post 8 videos on each channel a month. So I wanted to post a total of 16 videos and maintain my Poshmark reselling business. And you know, try to work out, have a social life. I do spend a lot of time at church. Basically, my problem is I just have so many ideas of things that I want to do and not enough time in the day. So I've been feeling a bit discouraged pretty much this whole year because since the beginning of the year, I really wanted to be posting this many videos on each channel, and I just have not been able to do that. I work very disjointedly, I guess you would say, so it's hard to say exactly how long it takes me to film, edit, post one individual YouTube video, but I would say a minimum of 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours per one video. So yeah, if I have any prayer of having even close to a 40-hour work week, I just cannot be posting that many videos and be doing my Poshmark and writing. I know you guys understand, no one is being put out more videos, but yeah, I just put this pressure on myself. I think especially on this channel because I do have so many ideas, but just realistically, I have to accept that as a one-woman show, I cannot do everything that I want to. I also do want to be putting out a couple interesting type vlogs every month that take me a little bit more time than say a book review video. So yeah, if I want to put more time into my videos, then I just have to put out less. Anyway, you did not need to hear all of that, but those are my goals for my 2 channels for this month, is just to put out 6 videos on each channel, which is still a lot, I know, but it is less than I originally wanted to. And then talking about my Poshmark closet, I would like to earn $1,000 this month. So I have been reselling on Poshmark for the last 3 years. And my first couple of years, I was actually making about $1,500 average a month, but just with the economy and also moving and not having my closet open because of moving, this has really not been a good year for my reselling business. But now I'm pretty settled in Somerville. I'm really trying to be consistent with listing on that app every day because that is really important with getting sales. So yeah, I won't blab on about that, but if you are interested in that, definitely check out Cottageville Cozies. But yeah, I would like to earn a minimum of $1,000 on Poshmark this month, and that just helps me create better videos, not only for my thrifting channel, but also for this one. And I am saving up for a big trip next year that I'm not going to say anything about until it's confirmed because yeah, I need to make a little bit more money if I'm gonna go on that trip, but that is highly motivating to me. All right, I also want to get up at 6 a.m. 15 days this month, which is pretty doable for me. I really enjoy getting up at that time of day. I would say my ideal sleep hour is 10 p.m. and get up hour is 6 a.m. But I just find my days are so much more productive when I do get up early and just get things going, and then I have the evenings free to hang out with friends or read or whatever. All right, so this is an exciting one. I kind of put myself out there and I decided to host a book swap this month. So if you are new to the channel, I moved pretty recently. I think we have been down in South Carolina now. From Columbus, Ohio is where we moved. I think we've been down for a little over 3 months. So we are starting to meet people. We went to a couple events at my church last month, which was one of my goals. So we did meet that. We went to a community event. We really connected with a lot of the other young adults at my church, so we've been hanging out with them a little bit, so I do feel like we've made some friends already, and I'm really happy about that. But I do want to get to know more people in the neighborhood, especially other women that are maybe around my age, and of course have a similar love for books. So I decided to host a book swap, and I just kind of put it out there, and I think as of now, 5 people are gonna come. They RSVP that they're gonna come, and I think it's just gonna be about an hour and a half or just however long people want to stay. I think this is a really good kind of icebreaker way to meet people because everyone's going to bring a book that they obviously like. They can talk about that. We can all talk about how much we love books. And my sister will still be here, so she can kind of be my co-host. And it's kind of funny because I am a very introverted person. I don't know if it comes off on camera because I'm just talking the whole time, but I am massively introverted and I need a lot of time by myself, and I don't really need a lot of social interaction. But with that being said, I am definitely a chit chatter. I really don't mind talking to strangers at all. I feel like I can kind of connect with people pretty easily. So I'm not really nervous about meeting people. I'm just more nervous about making a good first impression, and I'm just hoping it goes well and I can connect well with at least one woman who comes. So hopefully that goes really well, and if it does, I'll probably do it maybe like once a quarter. I think once a month would be a little bit too much, but yeah, once a quarter would be great. And all right, my big writing goal for this month is to write one short story, and this is a rollover goal from last month, and I did make some progress on my short story, but I did not finish it. So I decided to go easy on myself with my writing goal because I really am kind of just like getting back into it. But I want to complete one short story, and if I do, I will let you guys know, and that will be on my Substack. Workout wise, I am currently doing Caroline Gervin's The Iron Series program, and I love it. I like it because it's like slow weighted workouts, which is what I am recommended to do because I do have PCOS. So I'm working through that. I think there are like 5 workouts a week. They are free on YouTube if you want to check them out. And so yeah, I'm in the middle of the program now. It's 6 weeks, I think, so I should be well on my way to finishing it this month. And so along with slow weighted workouts, the other really highly recommended workout, not only for people with PCOS, but really everyone, is to walk, get your steps every day. And I definitely want to be doing 10,000 steps a day, but my goal for this month is to walk 217,000 steps, which sounds really random, but that breaks down to 7,000 steps per day on average. That just allows me to not put so much pressure on myself. If I have a day where I don't get that many steps in, there probably will be another day where I get well over 7,000 steps in. So I'm just trying to have grace with myself while also holding myself accountable to do the things that really do make me feel better. And then diet-wise, I just have no gluten because actually last fall I did a GI test because I've just been having a lot of stomach issues, honestly, increasingly over the last like 5+ years. And a lot of that I think is connected to the PCOS, but I wanted to do this GI test to see if there was anything that I was actually allergic to. And it did come back that I was 99.9% intolerant to gluten, and I was really good like all of last year after I got those results about not eating gluten. And then at the beginning of this year, I was also really good, but just with the move, I started to, have it once a week, and then that turned into a couple times a week, and I definitely feel gluten in my body. I get a lot of brain fog, I get like super bloated, so I don't have like as horrible of a reaction as some people. Like, I'm not going to go to the hospital or anything like that, but it definitely does affect me a lot, and obviously the tests don't lie. I should not be eating gluten. So I have gone cold turkey gluten-free again, and honestly, it's not that hard for me. Of course, going out to eat can sometimes be a little bit difficult, and I do feel like, at least where I live now compared to Columbus, there are not as many gluten-free options out to eat here, but it's a common enough issue that pretty much every place has something you can find. You just might not be able to get everything that you want. But yeah, I feel a lot better already. I feel a lot less brain fog and a lot less bloating, and it's just something that I just kind of have to deal with, and it is what it is. And of course, a lot of people have many worse issues than I do, and I am just super grateful that gluten does not send me to the hospital. But yes, officially #gluten-free girly. And for my book goal, I do want to read 8 books this month, which I do think is very doable. I think 8 books is a good goal for me every month, unless it's like a super weird month. So now let's go over to my cute bookshelf over there and we'll chat about everything that I want to read. Okay, so even though I just said 8 books is my goal for the month, I do actually have 10 picked out, and that's honestly probably how many I will pick out every month, just because I do like to have a little bit of wiggle room, but also still give myself guidelines. And I feel like all of these books I have talked about pretty recently, so I'm not going to do a total deep dive into each of them, but I will be talking about them more next month when I do my book review. So I did finish one already this month, and that is Sarah Addison Allen's Other Birds. So you will be guaranteed to be hearing about this one in my July book review. But this is a literary fiction book, and that's something else you'll notice in my TBRs, is that I do really try to have a range of genres, not only for you guys, but also for myself, because I am just not someone who can read like only one genre or back to back to back. But I thought that this one would be perfect for this time of year because it actually is set around Charleston, so that's super cool. So I'm not going to give my review yet, but I will say that I am glad I read this one. You're also guaranteed to hear about this book because I am in the middle of it, and that is The Silkworm. This is by Robert Galbraith, who is J.K. Rowling. This is the second book in the Cormoran Strike series, and I did read the the first one, The Cuckoo's Calling, last month, and I probably will end up reading one book every month until I finish the series. I think there's like 7 books out right now, but I really enjoyed the first one. I think I'm enjoying this one even more. And then my nonfiction read of the month is going to be Dead Wake by Erik Larson. You guys know I'm a big Erik Larson fan. I literally only read one book by him, The Devil in the White City, and I am totally hooked and I just want to buy all his books now. And it's kind of fun because it seems like from the comments that a lot of you guys really like Erik Larson as well. So that's great to hear from me because then I can continue to blab on about how much I like him. So Erik Larson is a nonfiction author, but he's very well known for writing about very interesting topics in history and writing them in a way that really reads like fiction. So this particular book is following the last crossing of the Lusitania, but I do remember from reading the blurb before, talking about it before, that it's also following like some crime and stuff, so it's not just talking about the Lusitania. So yeah, I'm super excited to dive into this one and literally all of his other books. And then I do have 2 thrillers I want to read this month. They are Lisa Joel's The Family Remains and then Lisa Joel's The Family Upstairs. Just ignore this situation here. So I know these books are connected in some way. I didn't really want to read too much of the blurbs because I feel like they can kind of spoil thrillers a little bit sometimes. But I think this is the one that I got recently from Book Outlet, and I figured since I have both of them, I would like to just go ahead and read them back to back. So excited for these. Lisa Joel has not let me down yet, and she has quickly become, I would say, a top 3 favorite author in the thriller genre. Really looking forward to this one. Can you tell what it is? It is Steinbeck's East of Eden, and my sister really encouraged me to read this. I did want to read it anyway, but she actually, I think she just finished it or she's almost done with it, and she said that she thinks I would really like it, so I trust her opinion there. But this is one I do want to take some time with. I'll probably spend, I would say, nearly a whole week reading this one alone, but then these 2 I might literally read in like a day and a half, so it all evens out. But ideally, I would love to read a classic, whether that's a written really long ago classic or a more modern classic, every month, just to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone and maybe get a little bit more critical thinking flowing. Okay, then I do have, I think, what will be a really good beach read, pool read, and that is The Jet Setters. I mean, the cover alone, I like have to read this month. I cannot read this in the winter. So I think this is going to be kind of like a feel-good family drama. There's going to be some issues. I'm sure they're going to work through them. Hopefully everything turns out okay. And this book is not usually my type of book. Literary fiction and just family dramas in general, I'm really like not interested in reading them a lot of the year, but they just call to me during the summer months. So I am really looking forward to reading this one, and I think this is another one that I could read pretty quickly. And then the last book that I have on me is Millie Bobby Brown's 19 Steps. I really love historical fiction. That's the genre of this book, and I do believe this is based off of maybe her great-grandfather or grandfather. But just like literary fiction is more like a summer vibe, historical fiction is usually more of a winter vibe for me. But I still do want to read the genre, but I think this is going to be a good one for this month just because it is so short. But I'm looking forward to letting you know what I think about this book. And then I do have 3 other books that I don't have with me. One of those is an audiobook that I am listening to right now, and that is Anne of Green Gables. I think I read this story a long time ago. Like, I thought I actually had never read it, but once I started listening to it, it was very familiar to me, so I think I probably read it when I was either in like middle school or early high school. You guys know, if you've been following me for a while, that I am really not an audiobook person. I'm just very much a visual page turner kind of gal, but I think if I have the right story, an audiobook can actually be very good for me. And I think some of these stories like Anne of Green Gables and Lord of the Rings that are done really well just because they are such classics, I think I will enjoy a lot of those audiobooks. So I am liking it so far. I'm able to follow it. I usually just listen to it while I'm walking on the treadmill. And Rachel McAdams is the narrator, and I think she has just like the perfect voice for the book. And then I don't have it with me yet because it's coming from Book of the Month, but I did order the new Meg Schaefer book. I haven't actually ordered from Book of the Month for a while, but I really wanted to read this book. I have no idea what it's about. I don't even know what it's called. I don't remember, but I absolutely loved her debut book last summer, The Wishing Game. It was like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for book lovers, and it was just like everything I love in life. So I was gonna wait for my birthday book haul, but I couldn't hold myself back, and I did buy that from Book of the Month, so I will absolutely be reading that as soon as it gets here. And then finally, I am dying to read the third book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. I bought the first two, I read them very quickly last month, I loved them, but I don't want to buy the third one yet because it's only available in hardback and I want to wait till it comes out in paperback, but I don't want to wait to read it, so let's go to the library and see if we can find it.
It's craft time.
So for the second month in a row, I pawned off my craft time activity on my sister because even though these things say they're beginner, in my experience, they're not. So I wanted to create these crochet coasters that look so cute, but it quickly became apparent that it was going to be way too tough for me. And my sister has crocheted before, and she even said that this was not beginner friendly at all. It took her many hours just to make the little basket, and she never actually got around to making the coasters. So I think this is going to be sitting in my closet for a while until I can figure out how to crochet a little bit better myself, but I definitely want to finish this project eventually. But next month, we are going to be doing something a little bit more simple. Alright guys, so I figured a fun way to end this video, and maybe we'll end every monthly reset video this way, was to just do a little Q&A. So one question asks, what inspired you to choose that area meaning Somerville, where my husband and I recently moved? So my husband and I have been in South Carolina for about 4 months now, which is crazy. Like, it both feels fast and slow. It definitely feels like it's been a long time since we've lived in Columbus, Ohio, which is where we moved from. So yeah, big jump, Columbus, Ohio to Somerville, South Carolina, which is about 40 minutes outside of Charleston. And from the time I was a kid, I knew I always wanted to live in the South. There are a lot of positive things about Ohio. I don't really know why everyone is like choosing to hate on Ohio right now. Columbus is a good place to live. It is a good place for schools. There are tons of jobs. It's one of the top places in the country for young people to move to. The suburbs look pretty nice. Like, overall, it is a good place to live, but I just always really wanted to live in the South. I am not a winter girl by any means, and I just really like being outside, and overall I just really like kind of the aesthetic, I guess, of the South. And my husband is the same way. He is from Pennsylvania and he always wanted to live in the South as well. So when we got married, we knew that we would go south eventually, but it was a good decision for us to kind of start our married life in Columbus, and my husband was actually working for my dad for a while. So I don't regret at all that like we settled in Columbus instead of going right to the South. I think that would have been really difficult for us at the time, but we knew we always wanted to go. It was just kind of a matter of when would be the right time. So we did end up living in Columbus for I think about 5.5 years before we did make the move down here to Somerville. We originally were thinking Raleigh, North Carolina, but then actually my brother and my sister-in-law, who also are going to be moving south at some point, they had mentioned that they'd heard of this town, Somerville. We started looking more into it. We visited last year, and it really just had like everything that we were looking for. I really love that it's only 40 minutes to Charleston, but I also love that we are 40 minutes from Charleston because this area doesn't really get very touristy or anything like that. I think we have 5 or 6 beaches within an hour of us, and it's a really easy like country drive to get to all these beaches. The town of Somerville itself is like a perfect size. It has everything we need, but it doesn't have as much stuff as Columbus, of course, which we actually like. And we're also a really great distance from a lot of other places. Like, we're only an hour and a half from Savannah, and I'm pretty sure that's a very easy drive. We haven't been there yet. Also, Charlotte is only 3 hours away. Columbia, I think, is like an hour and a half away. Atlanta is like 4 hours away. Asheville, 4 hours away. So many good places, many places that we will be visiting, I think, a lot more regularly now that we're down here than when we were in the north. So just location-wise, I think Somerville is a really great place to live. But my husband and I are both kind of like, when you know type of people. We were like that with each other, and we've been like that with a lot of decisions in our married life. So when we came down to Somerville just one time, we were here for 2 weeks, we immediately knew that this was where we wanted to be, and we moved down here almost exactly a year later. And then the last 2 main questions are pretty similar, so I'll just kind of lump them together. They're, what's the most unexpected thing you've discovered and come to love since your move so far? And also, what is the most surprising thing another person asked? I was thinking about this, and I don't really know. I feel like we really knew what we were getting into. Like, there are some things that are definitely worse here, I would say, than in Columbus. Most notably, just like how the town looks. Like the downtown Somerville is very, very cute, and there are other places where there's like really nice houses and stuff. But for the most part, like when you're just driving down the road, there are some like kind of rough looking buildings and things like that. I feel like that's just kind of more common in the South. Whereas, like I said, in Columbus, like every suburb is really nice looking. So just like the difference in the type of town we now live in is an adjustment, but the fact that the area isn't as nice, I feel like doesn't really affect us at all. Like we go down to Charleston a good bit, we go to the beaches a good bit, and those areas are all beautiful, and there's a lot of really great shopping and restaurants here in Somerville as well. It's just, yeah, driving down the road doesn't look as good. Honestly, I would say the most surprising thing is just how fast I feel like we have kind of molded into our new lives here. Like, I was not really afraid of that. I know a lot of people have a lot of like anxiety and stuff when you move so far away, when you move to a place where you don't really know anybody. I was kind of like tired thinking about that in a way, I guess. Like it was a little bit tiring for me to think about I'm gonna meet new people and they're not gonna know me at all. I have to like reshare my entire life story, like that kind of thing. So I was more like tired thinking about having to do all that rather than like anxious about am I gonna meet any new friends, how are we gonna fit in, all that kind of stuff. I feel like if you are moving somewhere far away or even just somewhere where you don't know anybody, you just kind of have to have a plan in place of how you're going to meet people. So I had looked into the local church that we now attend. We decided what church we would attend before moving, and I saw that they have a young adult group that meets every week. So that was a big relief for me to see that, because I was hoping that that was a place that we could meet a lot of people our age, people that probably have a lot of same values and interests. And we have gone to the young adult group for about a month now, and we've made fast friends with like basically everybody in the group. We are having people over to our house already. So I do already feel like a strong connection with a lot of the people that we've met through that. And yeah, at the time of me filming this clip, I've actually already done the book swap that I was talking about earlier, and that went pretty well as well. So even though I wasn't really worried about it, I am surprised that we have really kind of molded into the culture here as quickly as we have. And then someone who may or may not be my mother said, "You must really miss your parents." And of course we miss my parents, we miss Ryan's parents who live in Pennsylvania, we miss all of our friends and family up north. That is by far the biggest con of living here, and pretty much the only con for me personally. But we've definitely been kept very busy. We've had a lot of people come and stay with us, which has been really nice, and my sister has been here for about a month and a half, and she's about to go to Belize. And honestly, we have a lot of people still on the calendar to come from now until Christmas. So we are going to be very busy with people visiting, and then we also have some really exciting travel plans coming up this fall. So I feel like when you are busy and when you are pretty constantly having people come stay with you, time just goes really fast, I guess I would say. And I really love that FaceTime and Skype and all that stuff exists, because I feel like if you are like visually seeing someone and talking to them, it really does feel like you're hanging out. Like I do that with some of my friends and we'll talk for hours, and that really fills my cup of missing them. But yeah, overall, everything has been pretty smooth sailing down here. The house is basically done. I'll be sharing the house a lot more in future vlogs, future videos. We definitely don't regret moving here for a second. We really love the area and we are very excited for a southern winter. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions for me about moving or the South or reading or writing or whatever, honestly, I am a pretty open book. Just go ahead and leave them down below and I will answer them in a future video. I like the idea of doing these Mod Podge resets, and I will definitely try to get them posted by like the second week of every month. But if you did like this video, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help my channel out a lot. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!